Good afternoon and welcome to the Hawks Nest. Today we're going to be talking about soccer and their bid for the OVC tournament. Then we'll be moving into football and the success that they found last week against number 4 Jacksonville State. Welcome back. I'm Zach Tate and alongside me is Andrew Miles. And Andrew, do you kind of just want to lead us into soccer?
Yeah, this past week we had a 2-1 win over the Governors, secured their spot in the OVC tournament as the 7th seed, improved to 5-8-3 overall, 3-4-3 OVC. 18th time they have been to the tournament.
Yeah, they've made the tournament 18 times out of the 20-year history. And that's all been under Coach Heather Nelson. So she's been at the helm for the inception of the soccer program here at Southeast. And, going into that matchup against Austin Peay, Esme Gonzalez, the junior midfielder, she found success. She found success the whole weekend. But in that match in particular, she scored both the goals. Early on in that match, she was able to score in the first half, and that was the only goal in that first half. And then second half, Austin Peay ended up tying it up, and late in the game, Esme Gonzalez showed up, and she got the second goal for the Red Hawks and was able to pull that one out. And you want to kind of talk about how she did over the entire weekend with the OVC?
She also scored the lone goal for SEMO in the loss to Belmont. I think that's a good thing to mention. Her 3 goals over the weekend earned her the OVC Offensive Player of the Week. It seems like Esmond is really, putting in work out there on the field, and, she's a real asset to her team and her teammates.
Yeah, Esme definitely had a good weekend. Offensive Player of the Week for the OVC. That's only the second honor that the Red Hawks have gotten this season. Last week, Bailey Redden ended up getting Goalkeeper of the Week. So things are, starting to come together here at the end of the season for the Red Hawks. So maybe that can, carry their momentum into the OVC tournament as they are facing Belmont once again in the first game tonight. Belmont is the 6th seed, and, anything could happen, especially with the last match they had going to overtime. So it'll be an interesting match, I think.
Yeah, most definitely. SEMO would most definitely be looking for a little bit of revenge there. They want to get back at Belmont for that, that loss. So there'll be a lot of competition on the field tonight.
I definitely agree. Let's go into football, and it was an exciting weekend for football here in Cape Girardeau. Lead us into that, Andrew.
Defense showed up. SEMO beat Jacksonville State 37-14. Improved to 5-2 overall, 3-1 in the OVC. SEMO defense forced season-high 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles. What do you think, Zach?
I think it was definitely a defensive game for the whole time. If you look at the score, yeah, we scored 37 points. That's a whole lot. But, looking at the stat line for the offensive players, Daniel Santa Catarina, he only threw for 100 yards and a couple touchdowns. Then Marquez Terry, he finally rushed for 100 yards again, his 3rd of the season, and he only had 1 score. So it was definitely a defensive game all around for the Red Hawks as they were able to rack up those points. Kind of talk to us about Justin Swift and his numbers for the night.
Swift finished with 11 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks, and 1 interception. Also, he had 1 breakup. So that's a pretty good finish if you ask me.
Yeah, he definitely. He had a night. He definitely had a night. He was the OVC Defensive Player of the Week, which is one of the 2 honors that the Red Hawks received for their football team this weekend. And, Swift, one of those fumbles that he forced ended up getting picked up and returned for a touchdown. So that was just one of many defensive touchdowns.
If they keep doing this, if he keeps going that way and keeps forcing those fumbles, I think that, this is going to be a really good season for SEMO.
Oh, no, I definitely agree. And looking not just at Justin there, but Zach Hall, who's been the OVC's leading tackler this season. He had 15 tackles in the matchup. That broke 200 for his career, so he's doing something right. Zach also ended up blocking a field goal that was returned for a touchdown, so that's also big news there. Ended up getting 2.5 tackles for loss as well. He's also second in the FCS in tackles per game. So he shows up in every game every single time. And the fact that we can have him and Justin there, both causing damage, that's a good asset to have, I think.
Yeah, good dynamic duo.
No, I think for sure. And then looking at the special teams side of things, also a little bit defensively, Jake Reynolds.
Yes, OVC Specialist of the Week. Averaged 45.3 yards on 7 punts and had 2 of those dropped within the game. Gamecocks 5-yard line. So that's big. He went out there. He was on the field. I think, coming out as special teams, I mean, the team really depends on special team, to really put in the effort to, get that ball down the field so they can bring it back or, however, they want special teams to play on the field at that time.
Oh, no, I definitely agree. Whenever the offense can't get things rolling, you got to punt the ball away. It's a great asset when you got a punter who can put it within the 20-yard line or even the 5-yard line. I mean, just looking at it, like that 71-yarder that Reynolds had that night, I mean, that was his career long. That's the longest in the OVC this season. And that was one of the ones that got within the 5-yard line. So whenever you're able to do those sort of things on special teams, that can really help you out there. Now, kind of looking at Zach Hall once again, I said he blocked that field goal earlier. That blocked field goal ended up getting scooped up, turned to the house 85 yards. So whenever you're able to do things like that on defense, you're going to have a successful night.
Yes, most definitely.
All right, you kind of want to lead us into next week for the Red Hawks, tomorrow?
Football at UT Martin. Travel to face the UT Martin team this weekend. That is a 1-6 overall and a 1-3 in the OVC this season. Should look to find success. If the Red Hawks pick up the win, it'll be good. They'll move to 6-2. Best record under Coach Toop, the best since they went 9-3 in 2010.
Yeah, the Red Hawks haven't had success for a lot of the seasons here at Southeast in the last couple of years, especially, a lot of 3-8 seasons. And, having found so much success so far this season, I mean, they have the opportunity to improve to the best record they've had in quite some time, like you were saying. And
yes, most definitely. Long as the players, keep up the good practice, keep up working hard on the field, forcing those turnovers, interceptions, punting, getting good punt returns, I think they most definitely could have a good season this year.
Yeah, hopefully the Red Hawks are able to, keep their winning ways moving along. And I think that's going to be all that we have this week. Share us on Facebook. Thanks for watching.